The story unfolds with our protagonist, a young woman named Momo, in the midst of a heated and emotionally charged confrontation with her mother. The central conflict arises from her mother's recent remarriage and subsequent insistence that Momo relocate to a new residence to live with her and her new husband. Momo, however, stands her ground with a firm and pained resolve. She voices her profound sense of displacement, declaring that this man holds no paternal significance in her life, and the proposed household does not constitute her true family. While offering a terse congratulation on her mother's newfound happiness, Momo asserts her own desire to remain connected to what she perceives as her authentic roots, stating her intention to stay with her real family. This declaration prompts her mother to reveal a long-concealed and seismic truth in an attempt to dissuade her. She informs Momo that Jingo, the brother she grew up with and has yearned to find, is not her biological sibling. The bond she considered sacred and innate is in fact one of adoption. There is no shared bloodline between them. This revelation strikes Momo with the force of a physical blow, shattering a foundational understanding of her own history. Yet paradoxically, this knowledge does not diminish her resolve but seems to crystallize it. The disclosure, rather than severing her connection to Jingo, intensifies her determination to seek him out, as if the very nature of their bond, chosen and enduring beyond biology, now requires affirmation. Her quest leads her to discover that Jingo is living in Thailand. Without hesitation, Momo secures a flight from China, embarking on a journey that is as much a pilgrimage into her past as it is a physical voyage. During the flight, her mind is flooded with vivid, nostalgic flashbacks of a seemingly perfect childhood shared with Jingo. Theirs was a world of deep, unbreakable attachment, a symbiosis where she never for a moment doubted they were flesh and blood. This idyllic world was tragically fractured by their parents' divorce, a cataclysmic event that tore the family asunder. In the aftermath, Momo was taken away by her mother, while Jingo remained with their father. For years, they existed in separate orbits, complete silence enveloping their once close relationship, each left to wonder about the other. The narrative then sharply contrasts these tender memories with the harsh reality of Jingo's present existence. His life in Bangkok is a stark portrait of struggle and survival, existing in a shadowy underworld diametrically opposed to Momo's recollections. To sustain himself and his family, he leads a perilous double life as an underground fighter and an illicit street racer, professions where every day is a gamble with his own safety. Following a particularly brutal match, he receives a call from his inebriated father, who is incapable of running an errand. Jingo is thus tasked with going to Suvarnabhumi Airport to collect Momo, whose mother has arranged her arrival. At the airport, Momo waits with a heart fluttering with decades-old anticipation, imagining the moment of reunion with the brother of her memory. However, the man who finally stands before her is a stranger carved by hardship. Her excitement evaporates, replaced by shock and dismay. The Jingo she encounters is marked by the physical scars of recent conflict, his face a map of a violent life. His vehicle, a cheap car conspicuously modified for racing, further underscores the chasm between her expectations and his reality. She stares, struggling to reconcile this hardened man with the gentle boy from her past. When he notes her gaze and asks what she sees on his face, she can only respond with a question loaded with hope for normalcy. Did he complete his education? His casual, indifferent reply that he dropped out in high school delivers another blow. The unsettling introduction deepens with the arrival of one of Jingo's associates, a wild-looking man on a powerful motorcycle who greets Jingo with street familiarity and immediately assumes Momo is a new romantic interest. This interaction plunges Momo further into dismay, painting a vivid picture of the dangerous circles Jingo now inhabits. Despite the shock, an undeniable undercurrent of their old closeness persists. A simple, thoughtful act, Jingo buying her a strawberry-flavored drink, unlocks a flood of shared memory, a childhood spent picking strawberries together. The fact that he remembers this small, significant detail about her offers a fleeting glimpse of the brother she knew beneath the rugged exterior. This glimmer is quickly obscured by the next revelation, their living conditions. Jingo leads her to a dilapidated, shadowy apartment building. The climb to their unit on a high floor leaves her breathless, a physical manifestation of her struggle to comprehend his world. Inside, she finds his father in a perpetual state of drunken stupor, a man who has abdicated all responsibility. The burden of providing for the household falls entirely on Jingo's shoulders. She also learns that his father has remarried locally, presenting Momo with a Thai stepsister named Shin, whose cold, scrutinizing expression makes it clear that acceptance will not be easily won. Momo endures this uncomfortable atmosphere silently. During a tense family dinner, another poignant moment pierces through the alienation. Jingo demonstrates an uncanny, meticulous memory of her childhood preferences, preparing dumplings exactly as their mother used to make them and serving Momo a larger portion. When Shin questions this apparent favoritism, Jingo dismissively labels Momo a guest. This single word lands with the precision of a knife, wounding Momo deeply. She had traveled across borders envisioning a reunion of family, only to be relegated to the status of an outsider in his home. Later, overhearing a hushed conversation between Jingo and a friend, Momo learns he is on the verge of undertaking an exceptionally dangerous mission, one that threatens his life. In a tentative attempt to bridge the growing distance, she presents him with a gift. He accepts it with a cool detachment, offering no warmth, no shared reminiscences, no openness. The emotional wall he has built seems impenetrable, yet the narrative subtly reveals that Momo occupies a sacred space within him. He wears a necklace engraved with the meaning of her name, a silent testament to her permanent place in his heart, as indelible as the engraving on the chain. That evening, Momo devises a pretext, claiming hunger, to persuade him to take her out. He agrees, leading her into the labyrinthine, poverty-stricken slums that constitute his neighborhood. As they walk, a speeding motorcycle nearly hits her, and in a reflexive protective gesture, Jingo pulls her close to safety. In that sudden proximity with the truth of their non-biological relationship now known to both, the moment is charged with a new and confusing tension. At a bustling food court, he tells her to choose what she wants, and she instinctively gravitates towards the busiest stall, a habit from childhood. He then proceeds to order her exact favorite dishes, another stunning demonstration that every detail about her remains etched in his memory. He informs her that her return ticket is booked for the following day and he will take her to the airport. Momo confesses she only purchased the ticket as an escape from her mother and has no intention of using it, canceling it on the spot. Seizing the opportunity, she tentatively broaches the subject of his dangerous life. The question visibly affects him, plunging him into a depressive silence. He pulls out a cigarette but refrains from lighting it, seemingly out of respect for her presence. His only response is a terse command for her to stay out of his affairs. The atmosphere is disrupted again by the arrival of his friend Sally, who resumes teasing him about Momo being his car girl. This time, Jingo firmly corrects him. "She is my sister." Sally laughs dismissively, pointing out their lack of physical resemblance and their non-blood relation, and warns Jingo that his association with women could bring trouble from a figure named Sneaky. Before Momo can inquire further, Sneaky's enforcers arrive, seeking repayment of a debt. A violent confrontation erupts. Jingo fights with ferocious intensity, strategically protecting Momo at every turn before managing a harrowing escape with her in tow. For Momo, who has lived a sheltered life, this violent episode is terrifying yet paradoxically affirming. Amid the chaos, she feels an absolute safety because Jingo is there. She reflects on the vast disparity between her imagined reunion and its violent reality. Childhood memories surge back with painful clarity, their final parting when a young Jingo gave her a pen and urged her to improve her handwriting. She had clung to that memory. Excelling in her studies for years with the sole ambition of one day reuniting with him and making him proud. She had written him countless letters, each one sent into a void that never replied, a silence that left a lasting scar on her heart. The plot thickens as Jingo finds himself ensnared in yet another crisis. His father is kidnapped by a local loan shark. To secure his release, Jingo surrenders all his money. The creditor, a powerful woman, then demands not just payment but his personal time and affection. Jingo refuses with unwavering resolve, stating that while she can keep his father, he will not surrender himself, confessing that his heart already belongs to someone else, Momo. Frustrated by Jingo's prolonged absences from the apartment, Momo resorts to a childish yet effective ploy, deliberately breaking the water heater to force him to return home. Shin observes this sabotage with suspicion. When Jingo arrives to repair it, Momo finds herself captivated by his transformed appearance. The boy has become a strikingly handsome and rugged man. The heater is beyond repair, necessitating a costly replacement, another financial strain he quietly bears before excusing himself for urgent work. Convinced this refers to the life-threatening task, Momo secretly follows him in a taxi through the maze of unfamiliar backstreets. He eventually discovers her, hands her some cash with instructions to go shopping and cease her pursuit, then vanishes into the urban landscape. Determined, Momo enlists the help of Jingo's friend, Sunlight, who reluctantly takes her to a clandestine, high-stakes underground fighting arena. The atmosphere is thick with violence and greed. Jingo's assigned opponent is a celebrated and notoriously lethal champion. The betting is heavy, and the consensus among the crowd is that Jingo may not survive the bout. However, a mysterious, influential figure named Lin places a significant, contrarian bet on Jingo, expressing a belief that he is destined to change history. The brutal match commences. Jingo fights with skill and heart but is systematically and savagely beaten. Using bribes, Sunlight manages to get Momo inside the venue. The moment she sees Jingo bloodied and struggling in the ring, she screams for the fight to be stopped, her voice lost in the roar of the bloodthirsty crowd. At his lowest point on the verge of succumbing, Jingo hears her voice. He opens his eyes, finds her in the sea of faces, and her presence ignites a primal resurgence of strength. In a stunning reversal, he defeats his opponent, then leaps from the ring, seizes Momo's hand, and flees the venue, pulling her into a frantic escape as if single-handedly shielding her from the entire corrupt world. Outside in the relative quiet, Momo's composure shatters. She weeps uncontrollably, begging him to never again risk his life in such a manner. Through her tears, she confesses his profound importance to her, explaining that her entire world has revolved around the thought of him. She reveals the depth of her journey, that she crossed an international border solely to find him, that she rejected her mother's new family, and that she penned countless letters to a silent void. She even discloses that she left her new address on the wall of their childhood home, a silent, desperate plea for him to find her. The fountain pen she gave him was a symbol of the glory she wished for him, but now, in the face of his dangerous reality, it feels meaningless. Receiving only his stoic silence, she resignedly asks him to take her to the airport the next morning as originally planned. Suddenly, their fragile moment is shattered as pursuers, henchmen of the defeated fighter, descend upon them. Jingo commands Momo to hold on and unleashes the full power of his modified car in a high-speed chase through the city. As she cries beside him, poignant flashback reveals that Jingo did in fact open her gift. He cherished the pen and has remembered every shared moment, but has consciously chosen silence, believing his violent, unstable world is no place for her. Cornered by his enemies, Jingo sees only one path to escape, a spontaneous entry into an unsanctioned street race already in progress. He turns to Momo and asks if she remembers what a navigator does, triggering another childhood memory. Their father was also once a racer, and during his practice runs, a young Momo would play the role of navigator from the passenger seat. Now, in a moment of desperate synergy, Jingo orders her to unlock his phone, where a map destination is pinned. He tells her she must guide him through the route. From this moment forward, she is his partner, his navigator. What follows is a breathtaking display of seamless coordination. As they race through the nocturnal streets, their deep, almost psychic understanding of each other allows them to outmaneuver their pursuers, whose skill and machinery are no match for Jingo's talent and their combined focus. They not only evade their attackers but inadvertently win the impromptu race itself. For Momo, it is a terrifying yet exhilarating baptism into his world, and her trust in him is absolute. The winner's prize, a bundle of cash, is suspended from a landmark. Jingo instructs Momo to briefly hold the steering wheel as he leans out to grab it. Their final arrival at the destination is met with cheers from a gathered crowd, stunned that Jingo, who wasn't scheduled to race, has emerged victorious. When questioned about the outsider in his car, Jingo's response shocks Momo. Instead of introducing her as his sister, he claims she is his girlfriend, inventing a story that she was suspicious of his late nights, so he brought her along for transparency. A rival racer, impressed, approaches Momo and propositions her directly, asking her to be his navigator and name her price. Jingo interjects with fierce possessiveness. She is priceless. Overwhelmed by the adrenaline, the deception, and the cold night air, Momo begins to shiver violently. Jingo responds by pulling her into a warm, protective embrace. For Momo, this public performance of coupledom is profoundly confusing and emotionally stirring. Later, in a private moment, Momo confronts him, arguing that he prioritizes money over his own safety. This finally breaks Jingo's stoic facade, and he unleashes the harrowing story of his life after the divorce. His father brought him to Thailand to live in a decrepit, flooded basement where their possessions, including his schoolbooks, were regularly destroyed. They faced constant hunger, and what little money they had was lost to his father's misadventures. His father's remarriage brought a stepsister, Shin, who suffers from a severe heart condition requiring expensive surgery. Jingo was forced to choose between funding her life-saving treatment or continuing his own education. When you're hungry, he explains with raw pain, studying becomes impossible. He challenges Momo, asking how she, with her comfortable life, could ever comprehend such desperation. He throws another painful fact at her. Her mother even changed Momo's surname, severing another symbolic tie to their shared past. Hearing this torrent of hardship, Momo's anger dissolves into profound empathy and sorrow. She pleads with him to promise to abandon his dangerous work. She offers him a lifeline to return with her to China, to their old hometown of Nanjing. She declares she is now an adult, capable of supporting them both, and proposes they reclaim their childhood home and start a new life together, never to be separated again. Jingo offers no reply, his silence a wall of resignation. Refusing to be rejected, Momo stubbornly decides to remain in Thailand with him. The following day brings a new complication. Jingo receives a call. Momo's mother has arrived in Bangkok. He drives Momo to her hotel but lacks the courage to face the woman who never accepted him, driving away before entering. Inside, Momo finds her mother with her new husband. her mother delivers another shocking pronouncement. She plans to sell their ancestral home in Nanjing and move permanently to Canada, where her husband is from, and has arranged for Momo's postgraduate studies there. Momo refuses vehemently, accusing her mother of being deceived and insisting the house is her only true heritage. The argument escalates, offending the stepfather, who leaves. As tensions cool, they turn to find Jingo standing in the doorway. He has overheard everything. The painful realization that Momo's mother still views him as an unwelcome outsider washes over him, and he departs without a word. After he leaves, Momo's mother voices her long-held disdain for Jingo, criticizing his rough appearance, his car, and his lifestyle. She then admits the cruel truth. Jingo had attempted to contact them numerous times over the years, and each time she intercepted the communication, ordering him to stay away from Momo and subjecting him to insults. Momo is devastated. The foundation of her years of hurt, the belief that Jingo had abandoned and forgotten her, crumbles, revealing her mother as the architect of their separation. Her mother demands she prepare to return to China that evening, but Momo, heartbroken and furious, refuses and storms out. Returning to Jingo's apartment in a state of emotional turmoil, Momo vents her frustration in his room. There she makes a discovery that changes everything, a carefully preserved stash of all the letters she ever wrote to him. Moreover, on the envelopes, Jingo had drawn elaborate replies, visual conversations he never sent. This silent archive reveals a parallel truth. His longing matched hers perfectly. Their separation was not born of indifference, but was enforced by external forces, their parents' divorce and her mother's active interference. Meanwhile, Jingo is at his garage, his sanctuary for modifying cars. A tearful and confused Momo pressures Shin for his location, and seeing her genuine distress, Shin reluctantly provides the address. Momo finds her way to the garage, where a surprised Jingo reminds her she was supposed to leave. Instead, she watches the clock intently. As it strikes midnight, she softly wishes him a happy birthday, stating this ritual has been missing from their lives for too many years. Jingo's eyes glisten with emotion, recalling a childhood pact. Since he never knew his true birth date, they decided to celebrate their birthdays together. Momo reveals that today is also her birthday. In a gesture of tender reclamation, he takes her to reopen a closed bakery to buy her favorite strawberry cake. As they share the cake, Momo makes a wish to one day know his real birthday and for them to always stay together. The celebration continues with beer, and Momo, unaccustomed to alcohol, becomes intoxicated and emotionally vulnerable. She cries over her mother's plan to sell their home and her fears about the new husband's intentions. Jingo offers uncharacteristic comfort, suggesting her mother must have her reasons. Later, Momo is stricken with menstrual cramps. Jingo, with an intuitive and caring attentiveness, understands without being told. He rushes to a store, procures all necessary supplies, and guides her through the discomfort, offering his own clothes, his bed, a privilege he has never extended to anyone, and even researching pressure points to massage for relief. He spends the night watching over her, fanning her gently, a guardian in the shadows. This care triggers his own memories of their origin story. He was adopted by Momo's father just before her birth, after his own racer father died. Despite fierce opposition from Momo's mother, his new father refused to abandon him. From that contentious beginning, an inseparable bond between the two children was forged. The next morning, Jingo prepares a nutritious breakfast. When his boisterous friends arrive, he quietly but firmly prevents them from entering, stating that someone special is resting. Later, Momo emerges into the astonishment of Jingo's friends, helps diagnose a tricky engine problem, showcasing an unexpected aptitude. Their curiosity about this special girl is deflected as Jingo ushers them out and gently directs Momo to change out of his clothes. As they share the meal, the story introduces a new looming threat. Lin Su, a top-tier professional racer, is on a relentless search for the anonymous, genius-level mechanic and driver who once humiliated him on the track. Unbeknownst to Lin Su, the object of his search is Jingo. He issues a command to his subordinates: find this person at any cost. This threat materializes soon after when Lin Su's men, led by a vengeful fighter named Jing, whom Jingo previously defeated, arrive at the garage seeking retribution. They shout threats and begin to vandalize the premises. Jingo's friends try to defuse the situation, claiming he is away. Just as Jing is about to inflict serious damage on one of the cherished cars, Momo appears from upstairs. Moving with a speed and ferocity that belies her gentle appearance, she launches a devastating surprise attack on Jing, striking him so swiftly and powerfully that he is incapacitated before he even registers her presence, revealing a hidden strength that mirrors the protective fury Jingo has always shown for her. The tense standoff reaches a critical point. The antagonist Jing continues to threaten her, his aggression undimmed by her warnings. "So now you're going to raise your hand on a woman?" the onlookers mutter amongst themselves, their voices a mixture of fear and disapproval. But Jing remains undeterred, his focus solely on Momo, who stands her ground, vowing to expose him by live-streaming the entire confrontation. Just as he draws back his arm, poised to strike, a figure arrives with the force of a storm. Jinju makes his entrance, a silent tempest of controlled fury. Without a word, he intercepts the blow, and what follows is not just a fight, but a brutal, personal reckoning. It becomes clear that for Jinju, this is no longer about protecting a business associate or settling a garage dispute. It has become profoundly personal. The two men clash with a visceral intensity, their struggle causing significant damage within the garage confines. Overturned tool carts, scattered parts, the acrid smell of fear and gasoline mingling in the air. Seeing the escalation, Momo declares she's calling the police. At the mention of authority, Jing and his cronies scatter, leaving behind a scene of chaos. In the uneasy quiet that follows, Jinju and his loyal friends, including the ever-talkative San, begin the arduous task of cleaning and repairing the damage. It is during this cleanup that Momo seizes a strategic opportunity. She approaches San, recognizing him as the most gregarious and information-prone member of Jinju's circle. With careful prompting, she coaxes out his story. San, eager to talk and impressed by Momo, unravels the tapestry of Jinju's past. He explains that Jinju was once a prized mechanic at one's garage, a rising star whose skill brought the business great prosperity. However, a mysterious and serious falling out occurred, leading Jinju to strike out on his own. This independence came at a cost. One's men, loyal to his former employer, now routinely harass him, trying to sabotage his hard-won autonomy. San proudly recounts Jinju's school days, painting a picture of a young man who, while not academically inclined, possessed a raw, undeniable talent and a striking presence. He was so tall that he was often asked to clean the high windows, and his handsome features made him the secret object of affection for many girls at his high school. Momo listens intently, then casually probes deeper. If everything was going so well, she muses, then who introduced him to street racing and underground fighting? At this question, San's face clouds over. The cheerful chatter vanishes, replaced by a guarded, pained expression. Mumbling an excuse, he quickly retreats, unwilling to touch upon what is clearly a sensitive and pivotal chapter in Jinju's history. Undeterred, Momo decides to ingratiate herself further by helping with the repairs. She struggles with a heavy component, but defiantly states that no one should underestimate her just because she's a girl. Jinju, observing her stubborn pride, offers a pragmatic challenge. "Fine, if you can't lift this, then go pick up the screws," he says, redirecting her energy while subtly testing her resolve. Meanwhile, the tenacious investigator Lin Sui is closing in. He receives an anonymous tip, a photograph of a heavily modified pickup truck. The engineering is so distinct, so audacious, that Lin Sui instantly recognizes the handiwork of the elusive racer he has been pursuing. Following this lead, he arrives at what appears to be an innocuous pet supply store, which turns out to be San's business. Mistaking Lin Sui for a customer, San enthusiastically shows off pet strollers and accessories. Lin Sui cuts through the pretense. "Do you think I'm stupid?" he demands. "I want to buy a car from the person who modified the vehicle parked outside. Can you introduce me to him?" San realizes with a jolt that someone has tracked Jinju down. Ever the opportunist, he decides to play along, weaving a web of hints and half-truths in exchange for Lin Sui making extravagant purchases at his pet store, even securing a premium membership card. Flattered by the attention and Lin Sui's assumption, San's ego gets the better of him. When Lin Sui, having only seen him from the side, suggests San himself might be the legendary racer using the store as a cover, San proudly puffs out his chest. "Yes," he declares, "I am the legendary racer of Chinatown." Lin Sui, playing his part, arranges a future meeting before departing. The moment he leaves, San panics and rushes to Jinju, breathlessly explaining that a powerful fan of his racing skills has come calling and has mistaken San for the master himself, issuing an invitation that San is sure is a covert challenge to race. The word racing sends a visible tremor through San, but it galvanizes Jinju. To both assess the threat and perhaps teach San a lesson about his reckless boasting, Jinju takes him on a high-speed drive. For San, it is a terrifying, roller coaster-like experience that paradoxically sparks a flicker of fascination. He begs Jinju to teach him, but his natural aptitude proves lacking, adding a comedic layer to the tense situation. In another part of the city, Momo seeks counsel with her friend Nana, a fortune teller whose uncannily accurate card readings have earned her a devoted, if troublesome, follower in the man known as Sneaky. Nana, who became close with Momo during a chance meeting on a flight, has deep roots in the community. At Momo's request, Nana takes her to the high school Jinju attended. Walking the halls, Momo discovers Jinju's photograph on a Chinese letter board honor board, commemorating his athletic achievements, a stark reminder of the promising path he abandoned. Nana, ever the mystic, analyzes their names, suggesting they are cosmically paired like the moon and the sun, a duality destined for power. Returning to the garage, Momo finds Jinju lost in thought, a cigarette between his lips. In a swift, fluid motion born of her Tai-Kai training, she plucks it away before he even registers the movement, chiding him lightly. Later, when San claims he needs driving practice and asks Jinju to accompany him, Jinju, who has a clandestine meeting of his own, readily suggests Momo go in his stead. This casual permission stirs suspicion in Momo. When she later examines some items Jinju purchased for her, she notices the shopkeeper padded the bill with extras. Misinterpreting this, she jumps to the conclusion that the extra items were for another woman, a girlfriend. During the drive with San, Momo subtly probes, asking if Jinju has a romantic partner. San confirms that while Jinju is constantly pursued by admirers, he has never been seen seriously committed to anyone. However, he recalls one telling incident. Jinju once bought a delicate ornament from the night market, an unmistakably feminine gift. He never discovered who received it, but it convinced him that Jinju carries a deep, secret affection for someone. This revelation fills Momo with a confusing mix of anxiety and intense curiosity. While Jinju attends his mysterious meeting, the other party's face deliberately kept hidden from the audience, he sends Momo a voice note with intricate driving instructions. San is baffled, but to Momo the terminology is a familiar language. It unlocks a flood of childhood memories. Her father was a stunt driver and she absorbed his knowledge by osmosis. She explains the mechanics to a bewildered San and, frustrated by his inability to grasp it, takes the wheel herself. Her first attempt is remarkably skilled, albeit with minor errors due to inexperience. With focused practice, she soon masters the maneuver, a powerful realization dawning on her. Her father's racing blood truly courses through her veins. Nana then whisks Momo away to a lavish birthday party for her cousin. Amidst the festivities, Jinju calls, but Momo, still haunted by the thought of the mysterious ornament, lets it go to voicemail. She confides her jealous confusion to Nana, who devises a playful test, make Jinju jealous. Nana's handsome cousin Lee becomes the unwitting pawn. Nana orchestrates a photo of Momo and Lee that appears deceptively intimate and convinces Momo to send it to Jinju under the guise of a mistaken send. The ploy works instantly. Jinju's reaction is immediate and intense. He demands the party's location and Nana's contact details. Momo, wanting to gauge the depth of his concern, turns off her phone. The party takes a dangerous turn when Sneaky's men arrive, intending to kidnap Nana for her fortune-telling abilities. Forced to hide, Nana leaves Momo to navigate the crowded event alone. There, Momo encounters a rival racer who attempts to recruit her as his navigator, slyly insinuating she is not Jinju's real girlfriend. In exchange for information about Jinju's racing past, he persuades her to share a cocktail. Unbeknownst to her, it contains peach, to which she is severely allergic. After a single sip, her vision blurs and rashes erupt. As she collapses, Lin Sui, who is also at the party, sweeps in and carries her to safety. Jinju, having forced the location from Nana, arrives at Lin Sui's residence just as Lin is tending to the unconscious Momo. Misinterpreting the scene, Jinju launches himself at Lin Sui in a blind rage. Their fight is fierce and destructive, leveling Lin Sui's elaborate birthday cake. It is only when Momo regains consciousness and explains her allergy and Lin Sui's aid that the brawl ceases. Jinju, filled with remorse, hurriedly takes Momo to the hospital, apologizing to Lin Sui for ruining his celebration. Witnessing Jinju's frantic, protective care, Nana becomes absolutely certain of his feelings for Momo. At the hospital, doctors chastise Momo for being malnourished. Nana deftly shifts all blame onto Jinju, framing him as her negligent guardian. Racked with guilt, Jinju arranges for her care. As he prepares to leave, Momo, genuinely frightened, asks him not to leave her alone. In a moment of uncharacteristic softness, he promises to stay the entire night. Seizing the moment, Momo finally voices her burning questions about the woman he went to meet. Jinju's answer is simple and direct. It was a man, not a woman. Later, San confirms to Jinju that Momo has been obsessively asking about his relationship status. Understanding her insecurity, Jinju addresses it head-on, telling Momo plainly that he has no girlfriend, is extremely single, and that her presence does not bother him in the least. She can stay wherever she wishes. After her discharge, Momo refuses to return to her father's house, reminding Jinju of his open invitation. Playing on his guilt over her malnutrition, she convinces him to take her in. Back at the garage, Jinju becomes her stern but devoted caretaker, meticulously overseeing her diet. Momo, however, acts like a petulant child, stubbornly refusing the healthy food. Jinju reminds her that he signed her hospital release forms, making him responsible for her. "It was just a hospital form, not some life contract," Momo retorts, though the unspoken tension hangs in the air. If it were a life contract, it feels as though Jinju would be the one signing it. In a parallel thread, Lin Sui confronts Sneaky's men, violently warning them to leave his sister Nana alone. He makes it brutally clear that any further harassment will be met with severe consequences. Meanwhile, Momo tells Nana she has decided to forego studies in Canada and will instead enroll in a local university, a decision clearly motivated by her desire to remain near Jinju. Nana supports her and quickly gets her admitted to a language school as a first step. Jinju, however, is pulled deeper into his secret world. A shadowy associate informs him that only one crucial vehicle part is missing for the upcoming high-stakes race. A top 3 finish could catapult him into the national rankings. Jinju becomes consumed by the search, often leaving the garage locked. When Momo returns with Nana to find it deserted, she is struck by a profound sense of homelessness and rejection. Nana takes her to her father's house, only to find it locked and her father lying in a drunken stupor amidst garbage. Unable to abandon him, she calls her stepmother, who casually suggests leaving him outside. Momo refuses, tending to him with care. Jinju, having missed her calls, suddenly appears. Without a word, he lifts her father, carries him inside, and discovers the man had gone out because of a tripped circuit. With effortless skill, Jinju fixes everything, his competence a silent testament to his wasted potential. He forces her father to sober up and informs Momo he must leave town for a few days, instructing her to stay with her father, whom he reveals is actually a skilled former cook. Before leaving, he gives her money and, in a moment of conflicted honesty, urges her to go to Canada for a brighter future, a suggestion Momo pointedly ignores. While Jinju is away, fabricating the missing car part himself through sheer ingenuity, Momo bonds with her sobered father, who cooks her a wonderful meal, revealing a gentler side of their relationship. Race day arrives. Jinju the newcomer performs brilliantly until rivals sabotage the track by spilling water. His car spins and flips, but in a stunning display of determination, he finishes the race in reverse, winning by a single second and announcing himself as a formidable new talent. During this time, Nana takes Momo to Lin Sui's high-end garage. Momo's innate understanding of cars captivates her, and she begins photographing the modified engines. Lin Sui, watching via security cameras, grows suspicious. He sends Nana away and confronts Momo, accusing her of industrial espionage. Momo dismisses his cars as unremarkable. Incensed, Lin Sui subjects her to a terrifying test drive that ends with him demanding her address. When he drops her off and realizes she is just the daughter of a humble dumpling shop owner, his attitude shifts to one of condescending curiosity. Momo's stepmother, witnessing the tense exchange, misinterprets it as a lover's quarrel and calls Jinju in a panic, convinced this boyfriend is why Momo returned from China. Jinju arrives and quietly takes Momo for a walk. As they pass through a park filled with couples, Momo teases him about his own romantic history there. Jinju, sobered by the stepmother's concerns, gives her a stern lecture on the difference between infatuation and the responsibility of real love, warning her to be wary of insincere men. As they traverse a rough path, Momo instinctively grabs his hand for support, and in that moment, she realizes with crystalline clarity that the most reliable, responsible person in her life is Jinju himself. This realization is immediately tested upon their return to the garage. A new woman is waiting for Jinju, Sneaky, adorned with a distinctive snake tattoo. It is clear she and Momo are instant rivals. Sneaky, the daughter of the powerful Wan, Jinju's former employer and now enemy, has carried a torch for Jinju for years, though he has never reciprocated. She views Momo as an intruder. In a tense confrontation, Sneaky physically corners Momo, demanding to know her relationship with Jinju. Jinju's timely arrival forces Sneaky to switch to a facade of innocent friendliness. Later, over a meal Sneaky has provided, she tries to assert dominance, bringing greasy food Momo cannot eat. When Jinju steps away, Sneaky intimidates his friends into claiming Momo is his real sister. Jinju returns and, in a gesture loaded with unspoken meaning, carefully cuts the meat and gives it to Momo, instructing her to eat properly. This small act silently refutes Sneaky's claims and affirms Momo's special place. Driven by jealousy, Momo eavesdrops on a private conversation between Jinju and Sneaky. She hears Sneaky offering Jinju power and protection if he would only accept her affection. Jinju's response is a flat, immediate rejection. After Sneaky leaves, Jinju finds Momo hiding. When she stammers an excuse about cleaning, he confronts her directly. "Are you feeling jealous?" This question finally clarifies the dynamic, for Momo Sneaky's love is painfully one-sided. Despite this, Jinju gently insists Momo return to her father's house. She invents a series of increasingly flimsy excuses, even secretly breaking small things to fabricate reasons to stay, revealing the depth of her attachment. The next morning, Jinju wakes her for school. She acts helpless, claiming she'll be late, can't read bus numbers, and generally behaving with calculated adorableness until Jinju, understanding her perfectly, gives in. He gently fits a helmet on her, takes her to school on his motorcycle, helps her fix her hair, and even packs her a lunch. This tender domesticity is contrasted by Lin Sui's investigation, which eventually leads him to Jinju's garage and then to the dumpling shop, where he pieces together the connection between the humble mechanic and the phenomenal racer. In a gesture of deep significance, Jinju gives Momo a prized possession, his old school uniform with a prestigious red badge awarded only to top academic achievers, a fact Nana reveals to a stunned Momo, uncovering another layer of Jinju's hidden brilliance. He helps her with schoolwork and language lessons, their bond deepening. The final test of their relationship comes via puppy. San, ever the manipulative salesman, presents Momo with a sad story of an abandoned dog, knowing it will tug at her heartstrings and link to a cherished childhood memory she shared with Jinju. When Momo asks to keep it, Jinju reacts with unexpected coldness, speaking not of the puppy but of the pain of eventual separation, a clear metaphor for his fear of her leaving. Hurt, Momo walks away. Yet, unable to bear her sadness, Jinju later returns with the puppy. Momo, overjoyed, suggests naming it Lightning, after their childhood pet, formally thanking him. His friends notice Jinju is happiest when Momo is happy. This fragile happiness is shattered when Sneaky returns. She terrorizes Momo with a reckless driving display and viciously taunts her, asking if her stay, like the dog's, is only temporary. She then pulls Jinju aside for a business discussion, a move that proves the final straw for Momo's simmering jealousy. Unable to contain herself any longer, she interrupts them, setting the stage for the next clash in this complex web of loyalty, love, and rivalry.